This video is completely unscripted, but I thought I should make it because my Godzilla vs. Kong video is taking forever and it probably won't come out for another year. So as you all know, Grant Spatore is the new director for the Monsterverse. We got some promising writers, such as the writers of Shang-Chi. Yeah, real promising writers. Yeah. Henry Jackman from Kong Skull Island is returning, so we might hear Kong's old theme all over again. Yay. But despite all of this, I genuinely do not think that this is going to save the Monsterverse. I think the Monsterverse is doomed. And here's why. Also, I sound extremely baked, but that's completely intentional because I am so fucking sick of this franchise. Number 1. The writing is absolutely horrendous. Now, there are many people that think that the writing is completely irrelevant. Those people are stupid. Movies, TV shows, and games are made with technology and are constructed at a technical level, so breaking them down technically only makes sense. Genre movies being exempt from this type of criticism merely on the basis of the plausibility of the premise is just utterly ridiculous, because ultimately that would devalue the artistic merit any piece of art has, and subjectivizing the arguments made against these kinds of movies is either intellectual cowardice or intellectual dishonesty, so pick your poison. But yeah, back to the original point, these movies are utterly horrendous both in writing, world building, character writing, all of it. Even in technical stuff like the CGI, it just looks absolutely horrendous. At least with Godzilla vs. Kong, we have monsters with high fidelity renders. Nowadays we have monsters that look like they're made of styrofoam and rubber. And don't even get me started on the animation. As far as I'm concerned, most of these movies ignore 12 of the most basic principles of animation. Squash and stretch, slow in and slow out, I think that's what it's called. Arcs, follow through and overlap, and appeal, because these movies are fucking ugly. Timing, exaggeration, secondary action, the whole bit. Did I already say anticipation? I think anticipation. Yeah, anticipation. I'm not even gonna bother re-recording, I'm just that lazy. And I really resent having to call this world building, but yeah, no, the world building for these movies is utterly just obliterated, gone, reduced to atoms. We're not watching a world being built, we are watching the taxidermy of logic. We are living long enough to see this world crumble to dust and blow away. Did you know that in the Monsterverse, there is no mantle? Yeah, the mantle, one of the most important things that is keeping our planet together, is just gone, just removed from existence. The Hollow Earth is a hate crime against geology. There is nothing about the Hollow Earth conceptually that can justify its own existence in any form of media. It is just unforgivable. You know that scene in Smiling Friends where they made a whole joke about the flat Earth being real, and the punchline was that the Earth was actually flat and it was treated as this huge revelatory moment? Like, it's obviously a joke because of how absurd the concept is, but really, like, in universe, there is no actual explanation as to why the Earth is flat, but the show is using its absurdity to its advantage. Not necessarily for world building, but to use it as a joke, and given the type of humor that Smiling Friend uses, I can only imagine they will bring that back as a callback joke. I can see Pym accidentally revealing that the Earth is actually flat and everybody thinking he's crazy, and Charlie whispering in his ear, "Hey man, you shouldn't have done that, man. You really shouldn't have done that. We agreed that nobody was gonna find out about this. We agreed that nobody was gonna believe us. We agreed that nobody was gonna know about this, and they shouldn't know about this." But in Smiling Friends, the flat Earth is a joke. In the Monsterverse, the Hollow Earth is world building because it's using that as an excuse to harbor more monsters and introduce more kaiju into the franchise. This is without considering the fact that the characters are either badly written or non-existent, and I'm not just talking about the humans, I'm also talking about the monster. For the plot of King of the Monsters to happen, Godzilla is required to act out of character by not killing Ghidorah when he has the chance. For Godzilla vs. Kong to work, they have to ignore the entire aftermath of the entire world being destroyed in King of the Monsters. And for parts of the plot of GXK to work, we have to ignore the sociological and political implications of the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, while also completely ignoring the world building even between movies, with power scaling being completely butt-raped by Godzilla boring a hole through the center of the Earth, making the first two acts of Godzilla vs. Kong obsolete. Because what is the point of using the heaves to enter into the Hollow Earth via portal, which mind you does not require the use of a titan because the heave can withstand the gravitational pressures? And what is the point of the portals in the first place if you can just dig straight down? And it also begs the question, how the fuck did the Iwi from Skull Island arrive there from Hollow Earth without a heave? Are we to believe that Mothra carried each individual Iwi up through a portal? I thought that was only something the Lisan al-Gaib of the Iwis, which is Gia, was capable of doing. If everyone can do this, then Gia isn't special and the entire plot of GXK is completely vivisected. It's like the writers chose with surgical precision which outcome would be the most illogical and which ones would be the hardest ones to fix. By King of the Monsters, the Monsterverse was fixable. By GVK, it was barely salvageable. By now, it's... well, right now the Monsterverse is more decayed than a vampire in the Sahara Desert. They chose the most illogical routes possible while also blocking out all the exits that could potentially salvage the story. These movies are both maliciously and aggressively stupid, like they're on some form of holy crusade to eliminate any form of critical thought in the audience, and with extreme surgical precision lobotomizing them in the process, leaving them completely and utterly brain dead. They're replicating the process of becoming stillborn outside the womb. The other thing that sucks too is that the fans are eating it up and just doubling down. It's specific Monsterverse fans, but it's like they're being exposed to a bar of quality that they've never even met before in their lives because they only consume the one kind of media. It's almost as if they quite literally do not know any better. And as a fan of these movies, trying to engage in critical thought is very disheartening. However, there are some bastions of critical thinking out there. It's not completely bleak, but it's almost as if the only way to get this message across is to be notorious. So I'm gonna be fucking notorious. The Monsterverse fucking sucks ass. I'm being dead serious. Every time I see a Monsterverse clip whenever I'm editing, it feels like my brain is slowly ashing away. Like it's drying up and then slowly cracking and scabbing over. And then I have to chip it away only for it to be exposed to the oxygen in the air, and then it slowly just devolves and decays into this creamy substance that leaks out of my ears. And then the radiation emitted from the screen slowly begins to lobotomize my brain, and I can feel the temperature rising, so I have to put my brain on a table and watch it melt. I don't even know how my eyes are processing it. I mean, my eyes have to be attached to my brain in order for me to witness it. But no, I guess my eyes became attached to my soul. But apparently the radiation from the retardation was so strong that it slowly started to wither my soul as well, and I was becoming ontologically corrupted. I mean, dude, I watched GXK, I already feel like I'm fucking damned to hell. No, seriously, I am not going to heaven. I am not seeing the pearly gates. I am getting shot straight into Gehenna, catapulted straight into the devil's lair, chained to the magma floors and being forced to watch Saddam Hussein have an orgy with Satan and his demons for all eternity. But given that GXK was praised and earned so much money, I highly doubt that Grant Spatore will be able to fix anything that's been done in the Monsterverse, even if he goes with a more serious route, because it won't even matter if the movie's just bad. And he'll have to account for every single compounding plot hole and contrivance in every single movie while also focusing on telling his own story. He would need a trilogy of movies and a whole ass TV show to be able to fix what's being done to the Monsterverse. And I'm not even counting Monarch as canon. That show is... it fucking sucks. It sucks major ass. It sucks harder than Spider-Gwen giving Killmonger the sloppy twist Topatron 2000. She gave my fat man the bomb toppy. I call that shit Sloppenheimer. She going Megatron on my Allspark. I call that shit Sloptimus Prime. She dared so hard on my devil I was born again. She's conquesting my Viltrumite. I'm feeling... She's so spicy on my Shai Hulud, she got me seeing Holy Wars in the future. She's super Bene on my Jezerit. Okay, but for real, like, the Monsterverse is in a completely irredeemable place. Like, you have to reboot. That's like the only choice you have at this point. Narratively, it's completely broken. Thematically, it doesn't even know what the fuck it wants to be. It started with climate change and then it stopped being that, but also kind of hinting at that as well, but also something about balance which is not accurately defined. It's as ambiguous as a shard in the wind. You got big YouTubers defending what you could barely call a theme, influenced by a character arc that should not happen because of an event that should not have taken place, mainly because it completely contradicts the theme that the movie is supposedly trying to go for. You got people justifying its existence existence as Slop, even though Slop has no merit in its own existence. I mean, have you seen the Minecraft movie? Chicken jockey, la 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 lava, chicken, flint steel, the nether, the Lytra wings water bucket. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. There should be a memorial day for all the workers of theaters that had to suffer thanks to all the people going into the Minecraft movie and acting like complete and utter animals. And financial compensation for all the people that were forced to endure that just wanted to watch the movie. You got people defending the Monsterverse by explaining what the plot was, and they're not even brave enough to say your name. Someone, somewhere, you know who you are. Cowardly hiding behind anonymity. I mean, if this continues, then the Monsterverse is just foundationally doomed. Now, I have two solutions to this problem. Problem number one, we engage in critical thinking. We make it trendy to use our brains, because our brains is all we have to understand our world, so we might as well use it to create worlds in fiction and understand them as well, to express what we have in our soul, since that is the whole point of storytelling. And because reality is the baseline we use to measure causal relationships, aka cause and effect, then we would expect those relations to apply in storytelling as well. Timmy has a magical fire wand, I would expect it to shoot fire, not fucking fish. I think we should demand better. Now, it's kind of already too late because the production team behind GXK3 is already working with the information they received from the perceptions of GXK, the new empire. The time to be incredibly critical about the Monsterverse was when the movie was coming out, not afterwards. Because producers don't work on hindsight that early on into the production of the next movie. But the movie is still in production, so if we voice a demand, then surely the producers will see that demand and capitulate. Now, granted, this is completely unrealistic, but hey, it's worth a shot. If not, we just tank GXK3 and call for a reboot. Of course, assuming if GXK is bad. Now, I don't think GXK3 will be good, but if it's evident that it's not the directors or the writers' fault, but the fault of all the previous movies, then at that point, I would say it's more forgivable than if the movie was just incoherent on its own without the intervention of the previous plot holes that compound onto this movie, crushing it. Because the problems present don't just compound, they cube. If you want me to explain in more surgical terms why the movies are just downright incoherent, you can check out my black screen episodes or check out Zimzilla99's channel and check out Zimcast. Recently, we did an episode covering Up From The Depths video on GXK, and it was a horrible video. It was one of the worst videos I've ever seen. I genuinely hate this video. There's nothing about that video that is redeeming in quality in terms of substance. It's just anti-intellectualism at its finest. But yeah, go check those out. I might be on hiatus for black screen, but might release one more video. GVK video is taking forever. Stop being an idiot. Use your brain. And I don't know how to end this video.
I once visited my cousin like a week ago, and I found out that he had a Godzilla evolved toy, so I threw him out the second-story window.
Based.
That is a bit much.
Based and black-pilled.
That is a bit much. We don't need to kill a man over Godzilla Evolved.
I think I did the world a favor. I don't know about you. I mean, what was he doing with that? Hey, what 6 more years? I can always start again. Make another cousin.
Oh,
No!
What do you mean by that?
No!
that's not even possible!
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh my god!
I mean, I
No!
hope you have an aunt.
You did not
and
just
not
go
not an
that
uncle.
far!
This is some Game of Thrones shit we're dealing with
Nah,
here.
nah, da, 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 da.